Remember when emails were just walls of text with maybe a logo slapped on the top? Yeah, those days are long gone. Email design in 2025 is already getting wild. We're talking AI that knows what you want before you do, emails that feel like mini apps, and designs that actually work when you switch to dark mode at 2 a.m. In today's video, I'm going to dive into 5 game-changing trends that are sweeping across email marketing right now. All right, the first one, and I'm sure you're so tired of hearing about it, is how AI is being integrated into email marketing, and also how scary good it is. AI nowadays isn't just saying, hey, first name anymore, right? It's evolving into something that feels way more telepathic. This really interesting case study from Yum Brands, like the Taco Bell people, they launched a pilot program where their AI is analyzing your entire order history, not just what you buy, but when you buy it, how often you buy it, how often you explore new menu items. Do you buy in bulk? Are you a solo snacker? And the result is that they saw a double-digit increase in their engagement and sales from it. So much so that they're rolling it out to their other brands. On another big brand side of things, Starbucks did something super similar. Their AI doesn't only, look at what they've ordered, it checks weather, time of day, your location, like more like a hot day in Phoenix. So here's an iced coffee suggestion. So it's taking AI to really deliver up a curated recommendation feature in the inbox. All of this technical magic is happening through predictive content selection. So AI analyzing browsing patterns, purchase history, behavioral data, automatically then choosing what content appears. Salesforce is really big in leading this, but I think Klaviyo, my personal favorite, is going to be releasing more and more features that kind of align more with this AI prediction. Of course, if you're a smaller brand and you're like, okay, I don't have a custom AI app to do this, do it through segmentation. I think there's still ways that we can leverage this focus of the technology in a smart way. So figuring out buying patterns through smart segmentation in something like Klaviyo is a way that you can tackle this a bit more manually, but still have great impact with your email marketing. The next trend is interactivity. So emails are now becoming way more interactive, and we're not just talking about a GIF appearing, right? So remember, you have to click through an email to then go to the website, right? Okay, that's going to be ancient history here soon. Emails in 2025 are transforming into mini applications in your inbox. So this is called AMP, and you maybe have heard of AMP forever now, like it's been a hot topic for years, but now it's getting to the point where it's becoming more regular. It lets you do web-like things without leaving your inbox. I've done a video on Zamo, which is my personal favorite I like to install for my clients, where you can get the app activity within your emails. A great example of this is sending out a poll, a survey to your best customers, and they don't have to leave their email to fill it out, right? Right inside the email, they're putting in their name, their information, what they loved about the product, what are your habits with your skincare, whatever we're asking them, right? All without leaving their inbox. This also goes into the whole gamification trend as well. So having these kind of embeddable games, click to reveal, click this and this will appear, like having this kind of interactivity is getting people to pay attention to emails in their inbox now. Into this piece, there is a technical part that does matter. So implementing these features requires a lot of work, but like I mentioned, you can use apps like Zamo to help get you closer to having an interactive email out to your customers without you having to custom code everything. All right, this next trend, no surprise, is dark mode. Now, if you before were kind of like, my email looks like crap on dark mode, it's fine. In 2025, you have to pay attention to this. 82% of Android users and 40% of Apple users use dark mode, okay? It's a lot of people. It's not a trend anymore, it's the new normal. So the problem is a lot of brands, their emails look absolutely terrible in dark mode. One hack with this is making sure that you're using transparent PNGs where possible, but also that PNG needs to be accessible on a dark versus light mode. There is a thin thread of how to make it work for both. But if you use something like Email on Acid, Litmus, you can work on coding, and again, this takes more technical know-how, a dark mode versus a light mode color scheme preference. So in particular, doing CSS coding, to showcase a different logo if they're on dark mode, a different logo if they're on light mode. Of course, you can go the route of more image-heavy emails to force maybe a light mode when someone's on dark mode, but most people have lower engagement when receiving those types of messages. You know, at night, looking at their email and their eyeballs are completely burned because they're expecting a dark mode view and all of a sudden everything's in light, right? You know, it's a bad user experience. So just a quick hack with this, avoid pure black in your background. So like that hex code 00000, avoid that and maybe stick to things more like dark grays, which is more like a hex code 1A, 1A, 1A. So even though you're probably fully aware of dark mode and how important it is, I think it's time to put some effort into viewing and testing your emails on light mode and dark mode. The next one I have for you is mobile first design. This one is huge, okay, and it's becoming even huger. Stats say that 71% of people primarily check email on their phones. Not sometimes, but primarily. Yet most of the emails they get are kind of like this shrunken desktop version, right? Barely clickable and legible. Sticking with more of a single column layout in your emails helps not require like that pinching and zooming that people need to do when they're on their phone trying to read your email. And just for funsies, run an A, B, and C test, right? Do a static kind of desktop design version versus a static mobile version versus a fully responsive design, meaning it actually moves and adjusts depending on the view you have. You probably won't be surprised that the responsive design is going to beat it out, but give it a test. The big part of it comes down to scalable typography. So that's using actual rich HTML text in your emails. So that way, when someone is on the desktop, swaps to their phone, everything is scaling dynamically. At a minimum, if you're not going to go for a responsive design with mobile first in mind. Lastly, I have accessibility. Now, this is becoming something that is honestly no longer optional. And it's a trend that's going to hit hard. So with millions of emails hitting inboxes, 99% of those are going to have accessibility issues. Email marketing currently is honestly really failing a lot of visual impaired readers being able to actually look and access their emails. And not only is it good to be accessible to all of your customers, it's actually kind of crossing more and more into the legal landscape. So ADA lawsuits have been appearing for digital accessibility. It's becoming way more complex than it used to be. So what does accessibility really mean? So with people who use kind of these scanning apps to read through their emails, alt text is vitally important. Also having a proper heading hierarchy in your email, so marking things with your H1, H2, H3. This is more for your coded emails, but alt text, very important to have these very descriptive definitions of what's being displayed in your email. So instead of saying like these are headphones, instead you're saying that these are, you know, the Sony WH-1000 XM4 wireless headphones in midnight black. Like you're being ultra descriptive. Also, color contrasts. So you've probably seen this when building pop-ups on your Klaviyo account, where if your color contrasts are not complementary, meaning it's not hard to read, and especially for people who have those visual impairments, being able to clearly see the text on a light background or the text colors being too similar to the background, moving away from that, making sure that there's a great contrast between those. Besides those core trends, I do have a few other kind of honorable mentions. I think some fun things that you can test, and I'm looking forward to seeing more in my inbox, are things like voice activated features. So like saying, you know, hey, Siri, she's listening to me. Oh, she is. Add this event from my email into my calendar. So being able to actually provide information in your email and then the person being able to easily plug it into the other apps and features that they're using, like their calendar. So the brands winning in 2025 aren't just following trends. they're combining them. So imagine AI personalized email that adapts to dark mode, loads instantly on mobile, includes an interactive product customizer, meets all the accessibility standards. I mean, it's not the future. Big brands are already on this right now. Bottom line, 2025 is actually a bit about respecting your audience enough to meet them where they are. So whether they're on the phone at midnight on dark mode, using a screen reader, wanting to interact without leaving their inbox, the tools exist out there to achieve that this year. And the data is proving that it's well worth it. So it's not about having the courage. It's just, making sure that you use these in a smart way for your brand. The most successful emails of 2025 won't always be the prettiest. They'll be the ones that work flawlessly for everyone, everywhere, every time. I hope these 5 trends were interesting and useful to you. And if you guys are noticing any trends in your inbox, drop them down below. I'd love to hear it. And until next time, guys, I'll see you in the inbox. Bye.